I'm excited and I'm ready. I know I did a lot of not majorly different, but 25 minutes is different. And I've been through 2 of those fights in the last year. And I know that my body is ready.
Obviously, most fights you're relatively easily able to take your opponents down. That wasn't the case against Amosov, obviously, because he's a very good wrestler as well. Did that fight make you change your game and make you kind of rethink MMA at the top level?
I think it made me grow. I had to grow. I had to mid-second. We started throwing, landed some good shots, and really had to push the pace harder than either of us have ever pushed during a fight. And I think that made me grow. And then obviously you look at the Gracie fight, that was 25 minutes of on the feet the whole time. So I think when my career is over, I'll look back at that Amosov fight and realize how much I grew during that process.
With that Gracie fight, obviously you said it was all striking. It was clear the improvements in your striking and that. Some would probably say he had the advantage in the first round of the first fight anyway. Is that a thing you think, because obviously he's been away in Ukraine, he hasn't been able to train and all, and you have been in the training room ever since. Is that a thing maybe this time you will have an advantage on the striking compared to last time?
Obviously I've improved a lot, and so I don't know what he's been able to do. I know he was over there for a while. I know he's been, was back in Florida and training. Those are out of my control. I don't know what he's been able to do. And obviously, like we said before, the situation he was in, but I do know that I have improved dramatically since November of 2020 to now February 23. And that's what any great fighter will do, is continue to improve. You have to improve in this sport that's always evolving and always getting better.
Last question for me. I know you have a few Irish guys in the gym. Did anyone, Ian Gary or any lads, give you advice coming over to fight in Ireland?
Yeah, me and Ian spent a lot of time together and just really enjoying the crowd and, some places to see and relax over here. But, he's a great training partner, and it was good to have Ian part of it, especially with his striking skills.
With the first fight being so close, is there a temptation to redo your plan, or because it was such a fine margin, you'd rather it was a more conclusive first fight, so you don't have to change? So what's the difference then between the small adjustments in this fight and then making wholesale changes?
I don't think you change who you are. I don't think either of us will change who we are. I just know that you have to get better. And I think like I said, I've proven that over the last few fights, and you have to put things together, not just diving in on a shot, using your hands, setting things up and winning those scrambles and winning those small situations where you don't let him get the upper hand and score on the judge's scorecard. So I think that's really what this fight will come down to, is those small positions and who can continue to push this pace for 25 minutes, because that first fight, we were both dog tired at the end of 15, and it was a lot of wrestling. A wrestling match is only 7 minutes. Now to do that for 25 minutes, that's a whole different ball game. So I think we both have made improvements, and I'm ready to do it.
The fight with MVP, Scott Coker, came out afterwards and said he felt MVP won. How did that make you feel in the aftermath of that? And do you feel any additional pressure because of that going into this one?
To each their own. Everyone has their own opinion. The judges thought that I won. A lot of people thought that I won. I thought that I won. And so I have a belt and I got the W. It doesn't matter. That's over and done with in the past. Just like that first Amosov fight. It's in the past. We can't change it. So, but besides that, I think I want to go out there and put on a dominant performance. I want to show everyone how great I am. And that's what my plan is.
And finally, a friend of yours, Michael Chandler, is going into Tough now. There's a rumor you might be joining him on his coaching staff. Is there any truth to that?
Me and him talked. Obviously, I have to take care of Saturday night first. I think it would be a great opportunity to go over there. Bader's there now, and teammates from my gym, and so I'd love to go do it. I don't know what the time schedule looks like. It's kind of in the back of my head until after Saturday night. Thanks.
Obviously, Amosov doesn't have any losses on his record yet. You've only got one. How do you go into a fight with a guy like that who doesn't have any losses on his record? How do you prepare for that?
I fought him before, and at the end of the day, everyone's human. Everyone can be beat. We've seen it from Anderson Silva to Fedor to all these guys that, the world thought they couldn't be touched. And, you know, if you put a shot in the right place, it doesn't matter who you are, you can go down. And so I know it's going to be a close fight. I know that. And it's two highly skilled guys, but I've made the changes, and I've spent my time in the gym and went out there and fought the best of the best, you know, and I've done that in the past 2 years since then. And so I'm very confident in my skills.
Fighting out of Sanford, there's a lot of talent in your gym. How have they affected your career, and how have they affected your training camp with the growth that you've had to have?
Yeah. So now we're Killcliff FC now. And if you look at my teammates with Gilbert Burns, Shavkov, you know, Kamaru was there before, Vicente, Bilal's been in before. That's, I don't know, 5 of the top 10 guys right there. And then middleweight, you know, we have all these guys coming in. I think it does something for you to go and watch your teammates perform at the highest level in different organizations and be dominant. And that gives us confidence going into our fight. You know, we've trained with that guy, you know, done a lot of the same things. And so for us, I think we just keep building off each other, just like any good wrestling team, good football team. You know, you build off of each other, and those wins keep stacking up.
You mentioned all the elite welterweights that you're training with there. Obviously, coming into the rematch, the whole story here has been about Amosov, you know, being away at war. Do you think it's possible for him to have leveled up to the same degree as you have when you're in with those guys day in, day out, where, you know, there's distractions for him outside the cage?
Yeah, you know, it's tough to answer because I don't know what obviously I know the first, 6 to 8 months, he probably wasn't training, you know, it was life and death situations where we weren't going through that. But I know, I guess speaking for me, that I've made the jump, and I know that he's been training for, you know, at least 6 months or something like that. I don't know for sure. You know, I want the best Amosov. That's what I want, you know, and I think that's what he wants. He wants the best version of me, and I want the best version of him. So, you know, I can't speak. I don't know what was going on. I can't speak to that.
You spent 15 minutes in the cage with him. What specifically did you learn about his game plan or his skill set that you're going to take into this fight?
Well, what I learned was he's very good with his single leg defense. He's got really good darces, guillotines, and he's good at, he doesn't ever throw and be off balance. You know, everything's a touch and a move, good rhythm. And he's tricky, you know, when you get in those positions, and that I was not expecting the first fight. You know, that surprised me a little bit, and I've learned a lot from that and spent some time with some really good wrestling guys. We've had, you know, multiple NCAA champs in the room, world team guys. And so I've made the improvements.
Yeah. Obviously a strong focus is on Amosov's story coming into this. Do you feel like you've been overlooked a little bit? It's champion versus champion. Obviously he has the official title yourself with the interim. Do you feel like a champion coming into this, or do you feel overlooked at all?
Listen, I showed up, I beat Gracie in a dominant fashion. I was, you know, back home, relaxing, took I think a week off, 2 weeks off, got the call, and I did exactly what Bellator said. When they called, I answered. I showed up in London, beat MVP, and took home a belt. And that's what, in this sport, when they call, you answer, and I did my job. So for me, there's I don't know, what else could I do? You know, that was my situation, and took home a belt, and now we're here.